Hi again YouTube, so another day, another video, and what have we got today? We've got two toppers, courtesy of Joe at Laserrific. Just before we get into this, I wanted to say if you ever do order a topper off Joe, fantastic guy to deal with, made it really easy, you know, just via email. These weren't on his website. We said, have you got a Lord of the Rings and a Twilight Zone topper? Yes, he said. And within 3 days they were done, on their way, posted. Obviously living abroad, I had to wait a couple of weeks for them to get through customs and all that junk, but that's how it goes. If anyone in the UK wants to start making toppers, they're going to be my guest. I'm forever buying them for games. So like I say, we've got a Twilight Zone one. We're looking at the back of them here at the moment. As you can see, they've got a nice, if we come in, a nice protective cover, which I'm going to peel off. You know, I didn't intend on buying two. I actually originally just wanted one for Lord of the Rings, but I asked him if he had one. It's another game I haven't got with one. If we just zoom up, you'll see my games are currently topper list, Twilight Zone and Lord of the Rings. So what we're going to do is we're going to fit them. There's nice easy instructions. Both have some kind of power tap. I imagine the best thing to do is going to be to get them up on the game and then run these wires, as I did with the Terminator 2 topper, kind of through the back of the back box. Not sure how that's going to go on Lord of the Rings because it's slightly different, but we'll figure it out. Like I say, same with this. This has a slightly more, the remote's in the way, slightly more complicated power tap, but similar kind of thing, and then just a plug, and then I believe that will go into the power tap. All nicely bundled, got a little remote. I imagine that's so you can change the colours on the topper because there's a little LED strip underneath. So what we'll do next is I'm going to have a crack at Twilight Zone first, because I reckon that's going to be the easier of the two. And then we'll have a go at Lord of the Rings, and I have got about an hour and a half before a delivery man turns up with a Bally Medusa, which is going to sit just here where the arcade cav is, and the arcade cav is going to move slightly, I think, over to there or next to it, so we'll get playing Pinball Tetris in a bit. So we'll crack on. I'm going to move Twilight Zone forward, get behind it, put the topper on top. I'll double check on the net to see which way around it goes, but let's get on with it. Okay, here we go. Got the back box open, all looking good in here. I will just say this for you modders, you sure like J117 as a connector, don't you? I think practically every mod I bought for WPC or WPC95 games hooks into the J117 or J118. As you can see, I've got a whole load going on here already. I've got Colour DMD, it's a light up mod, J117's on here, and that's already got another mod running off it. I'm just gonna, I might be able to move this connector over to J119, I'll see if it fits anywhere else. I'm just hesitant to put like 3 or 4 mods onto a game. What the hell was that for? Oh, that was for undercab lighting, which not massively important. I took that off of this game, so that's just kind of there in case I ever want to put it back. So we'll add the power tap in and see how it looks. Otherwise, all looking good in here. You know, the batteries, should probably put a remote battery holder in this game at some point, but that's all. Alright. So 5 minutes later, and a bit more jiggery pokery with the connectors, I think I've found a solution. Getting a bit too much on this one now, and the power tap's gone in fine with the current connector, no problem. It's just a little bit tight, I might have to slacken that off. And then of course you got the Colour DMD above it. I don't think I can put any more mods on this game. If you guys are going to keep using this connector, or this cluster of connectors, you know, like there's all of these. What's wrong with using some of them, maybe? I don't know, obviously something I don't know about how the game drives the power and stuff like that, and these have to be the connectors that are used. So next thing we got to do is, I think, take the grill off with just there, and we'll have to run the cable through, and I reckon we can probably tie it around these and have it come across here and down to the connector, unless we just leave it loose in the middle. See how we get on. So here we are, got the connector plugged in. I run it up through that tie, it's going to go up, and then I've taken the screws off this grate, so we'll go through that. And then the topper is just going to sit just here, I reckon more towards the front, because you could place it sort of at the back. It's my nut driver rolling away. You could place it more towards the back, but it's not going to look quite so good, so I'm going to centre it up, get my tape measure out, and there goes the nut driver again. Wasn't finished apparently. So, and then underneath it's just got like little pieces of felt that secures it in place. So we'll take those off and sort it out. Okay, so that's the topper in place. Just got a wire coming round through the back, and then down the front, down there into the power supply. We'll give it a go in a minute. I did want to just say at this stage, because I've never had a Laserrific topper, but people on Pinside recommend them. I did want to commend Joe on his design, because you think, this game's going to get moved in the future. You know, what am I going to do with this thing? It's not factory, it's going to cause problems. And what they've done is, it's just like a little piece of felt, you stick one piece down and there's another piece underneath. So if you ever want to pull this off, it's going to come off easy. And that's just a plug, so you just have to, you know, you could either tie that up or trail it, you know, back into here just for moving it, and then bob's your uncle when it goes again. A great little bit of design, you know. I mean, the T2 topper is not quite like that. That's held in place by screws, so if I ever want to move that game, I'm gonna have to take the screws out of that. But this, yeah, might blue tack that wire into place or something just to hold it down, but you know, other than that, next up we've got Lord of the Rings. I will switch this on, just see how it looks. If a mod doesn't work or something blows up, we know it's not right. Right, switch on next. Okay, so here's the switch on, everything's back in place. I've put the grill back, everything's wired up correctly. Got the little remote here. I've got so many of these now for LED strip things, it's getting stupid. I'm going to label them up and keep them around, but see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't explode. It's always the danger of these things, so here we go. Yeah. And all the mods are working, as you can quite clearly see by that amazing light show. That topper is working well. I will not be keeping it like that. Let's see if the remote works from this distance. Colour. Oh yeah, there we go. So a nice red, blue, green, purple. That's quite nice. Cyan, yellow, white, pink, purple. Different shades of the same colours. Red, blue, green, yeah. I'll fiddle with that when I've got more time. So it's brilliant, it's all working. None of the mods in the game have stopped working. The game hasn't blown up, none of the fuses are blown. That's fantastic. So next up, Lord of the Rings. Okay, so next up Lord of the Rings, and this is a very different power tap to the simple one connector job in Twilight Zone. As you know, Lord of the Rings, totally different board set, totally different game, totally different manufacturer. So we're gonna give this a crack and see what happens. I not have many mods in this game, just the lighted speakers, the color DMD, that's the word I'm looking for, and what's the other thing? Oh, the LED OCD board. So fingers crossed this isn't going to interfere with any of those. This is a lightly modded game compared to Twilight Zone. There's a billion different mods in it, so we'll see how we get on. So like I say, Lord of the Rings, totally different beast, only two main boards. This one, nope, that's not what I was looking at, never mind. We'll come to that in a bit. It's going to be a bit of more of a pain, I think, because whereas Bally Williams have used screws to hold the mesh in place, Stern has, it's pretty common practice these days, a little bit cheaper, use staples. So I think if we remove a couple of those, we'll be able to get enough wiggle room on the mesh just to poke the wire through, and that'll be what we want. Pretty standard in here. Got your sound board. We're going to be connecting up to this connector, J16, I believe. I'll double check the instructions. Might be J15. Pretty standard here. The only difference, LED OCD board, as most of you guys already know anyway. And then, you know, that's my lighted speakers, receiver and stuff, and that's your colour DMD. Right, so we'll get cracking. Okay, I have to admit that was not as easy as Twilight Zone, but it's now in. As you can see, this power tap sits just between those connectors, and you plug in again with it facing upwards. If you are doing this, a big piece of advice I'd give is this bit here, this black tubing, gets in the way a lot. In my game, this connector here was kind of above it, keeping it below with all these other wires. So this big mess here. So what you want to do is unplug this connector, move this above, and then that's going to give you a hell of a lot more wiggle room to get this into place. So next job is plug it in. Here we are, Mr. Balrog in all his glory, and this goes to show that it doesn't matter how well you pack something, if you're shipping something overseas, it's never enough. Lovely thing, just slightly marred. If you come down in this corner, there's a very small hairline crack. I'm not sending this all the way back to America because, quite frankly, there's no guarantee it wouldn't happen again, and you're never going to notice that when it's on the game. It's too far away. So we'll get it in and see how he looks. And again, just another point of double check your work before you go and do anything stupid. So I ran this, actually, I'm pleased, that cable through all the cable ties. I thought, oh, I'm going to have to snip away at all these little staples, so I cut that one off and then realised actually it can just go through there, no cutting required. So sorry about that, game, but you're going to be a staple down now. And then we just grab round, there's the power lead. Toppers, the one on this game actually is on the opposite side weirdly compared to Twilight Zone, so we'll see how it goes. There has been a topper up here before. You can see remnants of hot glue, where very popular with all of the rings, people stick down little figures of the characters like Gandalf and, you know, all that. So someone had them and then took them off again, probably when they got rid of the game. So let's stick Balrog up here, see how he looks. So here he is in all its glory. No blue tack needed, that's quite a tight connection. Like so you saw earlier, it just comes down through here, round, down into this little power tap. Again, combination, same design, so it's easy to remove. Hell of a power tap just for a topper. I've got to admit, you know, it was difficult to get in stuff, but that's never gonna come out. So, you know, full props to Joe at Laserrific for that one. So again, we're gonna put the DMD back, power it up, and I'm sure we'll get an amazing light show like we did before. See how it looks. Here we go again for the switch on. Got the remote ready. Let's try this. So I'm just gonna turn the game on. Yep, same incredible light show as before. I think I might have this one single colour, whereas Twilight Zone was good colour changing. This one I'm feeling yellow or red. See how we look. I mean, T2's red, but I'm just gonna have a fiddle and then I'm gonna shut the door and we'll see how these look together. Should be good. So game's back in position, pretty much total darkness in here. So we're gonna switch them on, see how amazing these look. Very nice, very nice. Gotta admit, even though I only wanted the Lord of the Rings one, I'm really glad I got the Twilight Zone one. I am hugely impressed with those toppers, definitely. I mean, T2 is lovely, love the T2 topper, but there's something about cut acrylic, it just looks really, really nice. Thank you, Joe. you know, for sending these over. They look amazing. Definitely buy more again if I get another game. Got a Medusa on the way, so you want to do a Medusa topper, be my guest. I mean, the light they generate is incredible. Looks really good. The only thing I did find, and I'm sure other people who bought these will be aware, if you've got two of these together, the little remote will activate both of them. So if you want to change them individually, you're gonna have to turn one game off, because I was fiddling around getting to red on the Balrog here, and as I was doing it, all the ones on the Twilight Zone were changing at the same time, so I had to flip off Twilight Zone and go back to changing this. But mega pleased, you know, these look incredible, and these are two amazing games that definitely deserve it, so well chuffed. So thanks for watching, guys. Say Medusa's not here yet, but probably coming in the next 45 minutes, so if I'm still out here and I've got the camera, I'll take a little quick bit of it when it arrives. Otherwise you'll probably see a gameplay video on it next, so see you either in a bit or next time. Thanks for watching. And a short change to the game room about an hour later, and here she is, Medusa, all turned up ready to play. Really nice little game. This might be a keeper for a while. Like I say, looking in the position compared to my other games, sort of sideways, that'll do for now. This will be staying as bulbs. Nice examples. I might change the flipper rubbers and let's put green on these, not too sure about those. Everything else really nice, got the proper caps, proper drops. Targets have been replaced at some point, but you know, never mind, and really pleased with this. So another just the games room. We'll see a gameplay video probably in I don't know, a couple of weeks when I can get around to it. Thanks for watching.